In just a moment, as we start with the three big stories of the day. We're talking about 60 years today since the assassination of John F. Kennedy Jr. Today marking 60 years since he was killed. America losing the 35th president of the United States. Also, the Hamas hostage deal. Israel and Hamas have reached a deal to free dozens of hostages and pause the fighting in Gaza. The agreement, brokered by the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar, calls for a 4-day ceasefire where now 50 people will be released. We're also talking about the Rainbow Bridge vehicle explosion. That is the breaking news tonight. And this is the border crossing near Buffalo, New York. And it, of course, links Canada and the U.S. So let's get right to it. We are talking about the big stories tonight. Israel, Hamas, they've reached that deal to free dozens of hostages and temporary stopping that violence in Gaza. The agreement at the hands of the U.S. and Egypt, calling for a 4-day ceasefire. Hamas to release 50 women and children taken from Israel in October. 3 American hostages are expected to be released in this first phase. In exchange, Israel will release 150 Palestinian women and children who are currently being detained, and Israel will also allow more humanitarian aid into Gaza, including fuel. The two sides agreed that the additional release of hostages would lead to additional pauses in fighting. And now to the breaking news out of Western New York tonight. Our Ethan Kibbe is standing by after a vehicle explosion at a checkpoint on the American side of the Rainbow Bridge left all border crossings closed for several hours today. Ethan, this is a huge travel day. It's Thanksgiving Eve. What is the latest there from where you're at?
Eva, good evening. We have breaking news within the half hour. Speaking here in Niagara Falls, New York Governor Kathy Hochul saying preliminary investigations suggest this was not an act of terrorism, rather an isolated event. Authorities are still trying to piece together a motive. But because they don't believe it was a terroristic act, the other main 3 border crossings here have reopened. The Peace Bridge is open. The Lewiston-Queenston Bridge is open. The Whirlpool Bridge is open. So people are now able to get back and forth between the United States and Canada. A huge relief to people on both sides of the border who had their plans today thrown into a tailspin because of this incident. Here's what we know. A vehicle was coming from the United States side. It had just crossed into Canada, accelerated rapidly, struck something, and was moving so quickly that it went airborne, burst into flames, and both people inside were killed. One border agent was injured but has already been treated and released at the hospital. Still so many unanswered questions tonight, but investigations are making progress and travelers are once again free to move between the two countries, though not here at the Rainbow Bridge. This will remain closed for quite some time. We'll have more coming up on Erie News Now at 6. For now, though, from Niagara Falls, Ethan Kibbe, Erie News Now.